Image ads are some of the most slept on creatives in Facebook ads in 2024. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I make Facebook ad images that have generated over $123,000 per month in the last month alone. I'll be going over step by step exactly the process I go through, from the research to leveraging AI to shortcut the process to building out the actual creatives in Canva. And then I'm going to give you access to the exact system that I use to generate these ads so that way you can replicate it for your business. And I'll give it away to you literally at the end for free. So make sure you stick around until the end. And this is the exact process that I go through that's allowed me to create ads that have scaled brands from 6 figures to multiple 6 figures and even 7 figures per month over the last 6 years of being in e-com and marketing. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and dive straight into this. Now, it's no secret that the best ads in the world all begin with research. And if you're not doing research to make your ad creatives, then you're honestly just creating ads that are never going to work. And it's more or less just throwing shit at the wall and hoping something sticks. So we start with the research because the research is going to tell us exactly what we need to say in the ads to get people to buy. And when we're doing the research, we're trying to walk away namely with a few different things. So on the one hand, we're trying to walk away with what our current market's level of awareness is. So in other words, how aware is the market about what the product does and the problems that it solves? And then number 2 is the market sophistication, which basically measures how much similar marketing material has the market been exposed to? Have they been marketed the same claims or similar claims by other brands? And if so, to what extent? Because that's going to impact the type of messaging that we use. We don't want to use the same messaging as every single other brand because then our audience is not going to respond. It's a phenomenon in psychology called neural adaptation or sensory adaptation, which is basically the more that someone or the increased repetition that someone is exposed to a stimulus, the lower the response rate because they just keep getting slapped. It's like when you walk into a room and it's really cold and then after a couple of minutes, it doesn't feel as cold. And so that's sensory adaptation. You could think of that as the main reason why we need to factor in market sophistication, because if we say the same thing as everybody else, then we're not going to stand out. So we have those two things. And then on the other hand, we want to walk away with sort of the core things that you traditionally think of when you're doing research. So we want to know for every given product that we're doing the research on, what is the mass desire? What's the main thing that people want to get out of this product? What are the benefits? Like, how does this benefit people's lives? Why should they care? What are the pain points? What pains in people's lives are they trying to escape through this product? What are failed solutions? So what are things that the audience has tried that have failed to solve their problem? And how can we address that in our creative? And this is honestly just kind of like scratching the surface of the things that we can uncover on research, as you'll see later on in this video. But these are the 4 main things from the reviews and all the other research that we're going to do that you need to walk away from at a bare minimum. So when it comes to doing research, where do you actually go? So if you're a brand that wants to do research on your product, the best places to go are to your customer reviews and then to organic platforms to see what people are saying about the product or even the market in general that haven't yet made a purchase or that have the large percentage of which have not made a purchase. So we start always first and foremost with the actual reviews. So in this sheet, I have a link to the Amazon reviews for this product. And this is an export of like 1,000 plus reviews. And if you don't have a product on Amazon, you're not currently selling on Amazon, you don't have many reviews, either use your reviews from your Shopify site or find a similar product on Amazon that has at least 1,000 plus reviews and then scrape those reviews, download them and put them into a CSV folder and store them somewhere that we're going to use later on with ChatGPT. Now, another place that I like to go, or a couple of other places that I like to go, are actually 3 other sources. So number 1 is I like to go to YouTube, Reddit, and then, or secondly, Reddit, and then lastly is TikTok. Now, the reason why I go to YouTube is because when anyone ever wants to learn how to do something or wants to know more about something, they either go to Google or they go to YouTube. And YouTube is now the 2nd largest search engine in the world, right behind Google. And I don't know about you, but literally every time I make a purchase decision, I'm almost always going to YouTube to watch a review about the product or just to see what other people think, if there are certain things that I should look out for. But basically what we're trying to get into by going to YouTube is we're trying to get into the mindset of people who are in the consideration phase of making a purchase and who have not yet purchased, because people who are on the fence are more than likely going to YouTube and they want specific pieces of information. And those pieces of information are the crux of their decision as to whether or not they buy it. And if we can unlock and understand what that is, we can use that in the marketing and address that to give those people the information they need to buy. So it's just like if you watching this video right now, whenever you want to learn how to say scale Facebook ads from 100K a month to $1 million a month, you go straight to YouTube and it gives you all of this information. Now, most of these people have some type of offer in their description and they're providing this value to you. Oh, there I am. They're providing this value to you in the hopes that one day you will make a conversion on some type of offer. And this is the exact same case with e-com products. So someone who is in the market or thinking about buying an at-home laser hair removal device is probably going to go into YouTube and search up at-home laser hair removal. They're probably going to watch videos from a credible source like a doctor speaking as to whether or not it's effective. They probably want to see a real customer experience about whether or not the hair grows back after a year, because then it might not be worth it to make an investment. Or they might be looking into clicking on some of these clickbait videos because maybe they're skeptical. Maybe they are afraid about the long-term negative consequences of using laser hair removal. And those three things that I just outlined very quickly, those are all things that we can address in our creative. And yes, even in the scope of a very simple image ad. So it's very important you do your research and collect all of these videos, either the comments or the actual transcription of the video or a combination of the two. All of that information we're also going to feed into ChatGPT alongside the reviews. And then on top of that, we have Reddit. So I don't know about you, every time, I'm actually notorious in my family for every time I make a buying decision, even if I'm in the store to buy the product that day, I'll spend at least like another 10, 15 minutes just like contemplating what people on Reddit think about the product. And there are people, it's crazy. There are people who are actively having discussions, spending their free time on text-based forums like Reddit, actually talking about how good a product is, whether or not it's actually good, whether or not it delivers on all the marketing promises. And there is a gold mine of information about products in this market that you can replicate into your marketing. So for example, look at these guys talking about like one of the common pain points against laser hair removal or at-home devices is that they don't work on certain colors of hair. So that person is asking that here, and she's getting a real response from an actual person who's identifying herself as a natural dirty blonde with lighter body hair and is telling you that she's on week 6 and she doesn't have to shave anymore. That information we can bring into the marketing. You can use it as a testimonial. You can use it as a hook. There's so many different ways you can go about that. And as we feed it into ChatGPT, you're going to see the magic of and the reason as to why we're getting all this information from Reddit as well. But just know there's just a gold mine of information here that can all be leveraged in the marketing. And of course, the last place we go for research is TikTok. Now, similar to YouTube, more and more people are using TikTok as a means to do research on products or things that they want to buy before they actually make that decision. And TikTok, especially in the beauty, skincare, and health and wellness space, has a gold mine of videos on products, either if you're big enough, your product specifically, or your larger competitors' products, or at least similar products on Amazon, especially with the arrival of TikTok Shop. And these videos are ones that we're going to leverage the comment section of, similar to Reddit and YouTube, to pick up on information and key details and keywords from the comment section discussions. But we're also going to download these videos and we're going to transcribe them into text so we can get a feel for how people in this market actually speak. Because you don't get videos with 500,000 likes unless you're creating content that resonates with a particular audience. And if this is a piece of content about a laser hair removal device that has 500,000 likes, then it is fair to assume that the people that this is resonating with are in the laser hair removal market. And this is the type of content they resonate with. The way she's speaking, the types of language she's using, her diction, her cadence, all of those tiny details really make for when you can replicate them an authentic ad that people want to buy from. So grab at least 5 videos, and once you're done, you should have at the very least a link to about 1,000 Amazon reviews or 1,000 reviews from Shopify. You should have at least 5 YouTube videos, at least 5 Reddit forums, and at least 5 TikToks. And once you have all of this, you can bring this into ChatGPT. So the reason why we use ChatGPT is it basically allows us to shortcut the process of creating ads. And I'll talk about why that is in a second. But basically, once we've done all of that research, the traditional way of extrapolating anything that would be useful and actionable from that research, because right now we just have a whole shit ton of reviews, would be to manually sort through, find keywords, highlight them, and do it in some type of Google Sheet. But it's 2024, soon to be 25, and right now we have ChatGPT. So I just let it do all of that for me, and it literally takes me like 5 to 10 minutes. So it should take you about 5 to 10 minutes. And I use a very simple prompt. I tell ChatGPT, I'm going to paste a bunch of reviews, YouTube videos, comments, scripts from TikToks and YouTube transcriptions, comment sections, discussions, Reddit forums, all that good stuff. I'm attaching all of that information. Then I'm going to ask you questions based on the reviews and all the information above. For this example, I was going off of the Biodance Biocollagen Real Deep Mask. And as you can see, I made sure that it understood what I was asking for, and then I asked it for all of that information that I am requesting. And if we go back to our research, this is now what we're about to grab from ChatGPT in literally a matter of minutes. And it's all evidence-based because we're getting information from reviews and YouTube videos. So it's not like it's just pulling it out of thin air. And so once we ask it for the categories, so what I'm asking it for is the value propositions, the mass desires, benefits, features, pain points, purchase prompts, desired outcomes, failed solutions, and objections to making a purchase. I'm also going to ask it for specific reviews and the number of times that specific bullet point actually showed up in the reviews. So for example, for the value propositions, we know that based on the reviews, deep hydration that lasts for days is one thing that people want to get out of the product. And this has been mentioned 15 times, and this has been mentioned the most out of any value proposition. So we know that this is likely the largest or most prominent value proposition that people actually want to get out of the product. And it's probably one that we should focus on in the marketing. That being said, it's also probably one that other people or the majority of advertisers are focusing on because it is the main one with the largest market appeal. So we might actually be able to unlock certain sub-markets and sub-pockets of the audience by focusing on smaller value propositions, such as tightening pores and reducing fine lines, or overnight improvement in skin texture and softness. And so there's many different ways you can use all of this information. Now, we also ask it for corresponding reviews. So that way we know that ChatGPT, because it has a tendency to just pull stuff out of its ass, now we have specific evidence that substantiates the reason why that was chosen as a value proposition. And more importantly, we now have specific excerpts, and this is going to pull from reviews, the comments, the Reddit forums. We basically have excerpts that show us how the audience describes these things in their own language. And that is very important. If you're not able to describe a pain point, a benefit, or something about your product in a way that your audience will resonate with, it's going to come off as inauthentic, and it's going to make it feel like an ad. And people don't buy from ads, they buy from people. So it's important that you understand how to, or what language that you need to use in order to communicate each of these things in a way that your audience will resonate with. Otherwise, it's just not going to land. So as you can see, scrolling through this document, we have the mass desires, the benefits, features, pain points, literally like 5 minutes. I remember having to do this stuff manually, and now you can literally just throw everything into ChatGPT. And if you ask it a question, it will give you all this information. What do you actually do with all that information? Well, that leads into the next step, which is actually keeping a running log of all of this information on a spreadsheet somewhere in order of rank, so you understand what are the most prominent things in each category and in what frequency do they appear, so I know which ones to focus on and which ones are the largest. So we store all this information in a sheet that looks like this. And then from here, we can use this to actually build what's called an audience persona. And audience personas, I typically don't like, at least in the traditional sense. I really don't care like how much money someone's making or like what their age is or what town they're in. I want to understand the psychographic information. What is the deeper psychology behind why they're making a decision, or what types of things in their psychology or what kind of characteristics do they have in their psychology that are relevant to us actually marketing to them. So we have all that information stored here, and then we have the actual personas themselves. So we have all of this, and now we can go back into ChatGPT and we can actually create the headlines that we're going to use to make the images. Okay, sweet. So I'm back inside of ChatGPT, and I've literally just asked it to generate me 10 problem-aware headlines using real customer language for a Facebook ad that should be less than 12 words, that use real customer language and keywords, and you can use full-on excerpts from the reviews if you have to. And as you can see, in a matter of seconds here, I was able to get 10 problem-aware Facebook image ad headlines using real customer language from the reviews. And now these aren't like, award-winning headlines, but they're pretty good, and they serve as a really solid foundational baseline that you can build off of and further optimize. So just taking a look here, this one's a little bit generic. Let's see. This one is pretty good. My skin is always left dry, but this left it glowing. I like this. I like this one. I doubted the hype, but my skin's never looked better. Felt my skin parched. I was skeptical, but my pores shrunk by 1/3. Okay, cool. So some of these are pretty good. If I had to pick one to actually put into a Facebook ad creative, I'd probably go with either number 7, just because I think that's a very specific, like I love the use of that word there, pores shrunk, and then the specific like amount. And then I also really like this one up here. My dull, tired skin looked completely rejuvenated after this. Now, I wasn't really satisfied, to be honest, with ChatGPT's output. So I went into Claude, which I've been experimenting with and has been like way better at like qualitative tasks. So I asked it to do the exact same thing as what I asked for ChatGPT. And these headlines to me are much, much, much better. I am in love with this. I ditched my 10-step routine for this one mask. Let's see. I really like, where was it? I think it was this one. Yeah, Korean glass skin without breaking the bank, finally, because that kind of speaks to the 10-step routine as well. So as you can see, all of these are pretty much fair game that we can use on an actual creative. And I asked it for 10 more headlines, and as you can see, it spat out 10 more, no problem. This one was crazy. Transform crater pores into glass skin by tomorrow morning. Get 3 days of hydration. Look like you've never had dry skin in your life. Make strangers stop and ask about your skin tomorrow. So now that we have, at this point, we've got like 20 headlines that are all evidence-based using real customer language that are based on customer reviews and customer research. We can bring all of this into Canva, and I'm going to show you how I bring this to life in a very, very simple format because we've nailed the messaging so well. All right, so I'm inside of Canva, and I am no graphic designer by any means, but I'm going to show you how I would take those headlines and then actually create a very, very simple Facebook image ad using the headline, and then I'll add my own image as well. So as you can see, I've literally grabbed one of the headlines from Claude that was created, and I really like this one, The Lazy Girl's Secret to Glass Skin, since a lot of the organic videos were talking about how this is perfect if you're lazy, you don't want to do your skincare routine, just pop this on, you're good to go. And then from that, I was able to create this from Claude as well, which is one mask, one night, wake up glowing. So this is pretty much the standard formula for any high converting headline static. It's basically you have your headline and then you either have a sub headline and then a couple features / benefits, or you just have a headline and then a bunch of benefits. So now that we've added this, I'm going to go ahead and add an image to it to really make it pop. Okay, cool. And as you can see, I've added a very, very simple UGC image, and it's literally just a person wearing the actual mask. And then I've made a couple of other versions as well. This one's a little bit more of a high res image, and this is another piece of UGC. Now, obviously I'm not a designer, but hopefully you get the point of me demonstrating this. The hardest part to nail with an image ad is this section, and that is really what matters. In terms of the actual format itself, most image ads, at least in the headline department, are extremely simple. So if you're just doing a classic headline static, make sure you dial in the messaging through all the process that we just went through there, and then make it very, very simple. And if you're skeptical as to the design level in that creative, just know I actually took this format from a brand called Hims, 8 or 9 figure supplement brand. And this was the creative inspo that I used to create that ad below. So as you can see, it doesn't take a lot, but what you focus on is nailing the messaging. And I think they did a good job of that here as well. So that is going to do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed and you got a ton of value, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in having me run your ads for you, then make sure you check out the first link in the description. If you are a newcomer and you are looking to start your first e-commerce business and make your first $1,000 per day with a branded dropshipping store, then check out the second link in the description below. Otherwise, if you want to get access to the what I call the 8-figure creative engine sheet, which is this sheet here that basically allows you to have a store of information of all the stuff that we just walked through, and then pulls you in step by step with all the different prompts with the sheet, and then even has more resources within the sheet, then I'm going to leave it linked below at the bottom of the video description so you can get access to that and you can start using this and making some awesome creatives, because I want to see you guys win. Otherwise, thank you for watching this video. I hope wherever you are in the world, you're having a great rest of the day, and I will catch you guys soon. Peace.